Hello and welcome to PlumeriaPlay. Today in The Sims, we are letting a random pack generator decide our build, and we actually built this live over on Twitch first. So I'm going to explain to you what we did, and then I'm going to show you what packs we got because it's kind of devastating. But we came over to James Turner's website. I'll link it in the description below, and we're using his random pack generator. So basically all we did was click to include one expansion pack, one game pack, one stuff pack, and one kit, and then we set the number of results to 4. So we generated one of each type of pack, and I left the clip in of us getting the packs because it was kind of devastating. So I'm gonna play that now. So let's generate, and we'll do one of each pack, or one of each type of pack. Hopefully we don't get anything too chaotic, but a little chaos. Oh my god. So we are going to be building with Get Famous, Dine Out, Spooky Stuff, and the Bathroom Clutter Kit, and let's hop into the speed build. So I decided to build this in the world that comes with Get Famous because that is the only pack that we rolled that actually came with a world, and we are building this where the park usually is, and quite frankly that park is useless. But what we decided to build with the packs that we rolled was a restaurant that had a Halloween party happening upstairs, and I actually think this build comes out really good in the end, especially considering the packs that we were dealt. And I try to do a fair job to use a little bit of all of the packs, although bathroom clutter in a restaurant was a little bit hard, but we did fit it in a few places. But I think the layout of this actually comes out really good as well. So I actually spaced the restaurant out so we were able to fit the booth seats in. I really wanted to have those because as a person who actually works in a restaurant, I know that that is by far the most popular seating option. So I was like, we have to have our booth seats. But we actually figure out this layout super fast, especially considering I'm not the best at community lots. Not so much because I'm bad at community lots, but I'm definitely a little more unpracticed in community lots. I regularly build houses in The Sims, but it's not super often that I gravitate towards building restaurants or other community lots. So I was pretty happy with the way this one turned out. And we also went for more of a modern vibe, and I was pretty proud of how that turned out as well because modern is also not really my strong suit. I think I thrive in like a craftsman style, but I think I could probably pull off modern better than I thought I could now that we've tried this. But I feel like that's actually where the fun of a random build challenge comes in, is pushing yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit, because it's not often that I would build a restaurant using spooky stuff and Get Famous, you know? So it was fun to try to play to that challenge. It also made me really have to think out a storyline, like in what situation would we be using spooky stuff in a restaurant or a house, you know what I mean? So it was really fun to try to do that, and like I said, I think this ends up turning out pretty well in the end. As I said before, we did build this over on Twitch first, so I'm gonna have all that stuff linked in the description if you're interested in hanging out. But something kind of exciting happened during this stream, and that's I got my first raid. So you will see some pop-ups happen throughout the speed build, but since this video sped up so much, they don't last very long at all. But that was so exciting for me and so fun. And honestly, it's a lot easier to build in The Sims when you have people to play off of. So thank you to anyone who was hanging out in my Twitch chat. You definitely helped me out in this one because this was a challenge for me for sure. If you're not that familiar with Twitch, what a raid is when another creator that has also been streaming is done streaming and they send all their followers over to you. So it felt like a really big deal to me. Like I said, it was my first one, so I was like kind of nervous about it. Oh, and look who decided to make a little appearance today. Apollo is getting so big. It's like shocking how fast he's grown. I was not prepared for the quickness of it, but I think he's gonna end up being quite a big cat, and a big orange cat is actually like my dream cat, so I'm very excited about that. But back to the build for a minute. I did make something that I consider to be a bit of a choice, and I really wanted to try to use the Get Famous windows. The only problem is the Get Famous windows have like a blue tint in them, and the other windows are clear. But I think it ends up mixing and matching okay. Like I said, it's maybe a little odd, but we end up putting curtains on all of the windows anyways, so you really can't tell that much like when the build is all finished. The other part that made this build so challenging is the fact that I don't regularly use these packs, so I wasn't that well versed in what items were even available to me. I could not tell you the last time I tried to do a build and used a lot of Get Famous stuff. And I feel like I only use Dine Out if I'm trying to build or play in a restaurant. Bathroom Clutter Kit was probably the only one that was like a familiar pack to me. And I feel like that really says something about the packs that I like to use. But we are working on the bathrooms now, and I do use the sinks from Get Famous. And in the bathrooms is about the most of the bathroom clutter kit we use. I try to add it in a few other places, but it just doesn't really fit in with a restaurant style build. It's a lot of like lotions and things like that, or big towel racks, and that's not really exactly very realistic for a restaurant build. But now we're kind of starting to figure out our vibe and our color scheme, and I gotta tell you, I really like the vibe of this restaurant. It's very like warm woods and black as the accent, and like the brown leather booths and things like that. I think it's very cute. I did want the restaurant to have a nice grand entryway too, so we used some kitchen counters and then add our host stand at the end of that. And then before it's all over with, we do put a big sign behind there, but I really like that. And I've got to tell you, I jump around a whole lot in this build, so I'm sorry, it's not exactly like one area gets done and then we move on to the next. It's like I do a little here, I move over here, I do a little here, I move over here. But I do think it all comes out nice and together in the end. It's just not exactly like a cohesive build sequence, I wouldn't say. Oh, and here we are now placing that sign. It took me a minute to figure out which sign. We actually even had a vote in chat, but we end up going with the one that has the red glow underneath it. I think any of them would have worked really well. I actually really like all of these signs, and I like that they have that glow underneath them. And right about now is where this starts clicking for me. I find these like celebrity item displays in the decorations, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to use it. It's gonna be like a celebrity nod restaurant, so it's like an up and coming place, but they have memorabilia from the biggest and best celebrities in here. So that's kind of the storyline that we go with. And I wasn't able to fit in a whole lot of chairs outside of the booth, but I think it's enough to be functional. We do end up with a cute little upstairs seating area outside, and then there is like the Halloween room that we have with our spooky stuff. So I do think it all works out, but we wanted to add in some subtle color. I didn't feel like for an up and coming celebrity restaurant, super colorful would be best. I thought maybe we wanted to keep it a little on the fancier side. So we do slight touches of red here and there, but most of the restaurant space is very nice and neutral. But we are adding some rugs and mats down now, and I think we're about to be moving out to the outdoor landscaping. Like I said, I don't know why I jumped around so much. It was like my brain could not just attach to an area. I feel like that's what I do when I'm a little more uncomfortable with a build. I move from space to space, like just hoping that something's gonna click for me. And we do these bushes all the way around the outside. I feel like it makes sense in this area. I feel like it makes sense for a fancier restaurant. So I kind of like that for here. We even got some outdoor benches to have a bit of a waiting area, which is not really realistic in The Sims, but it is very realistic in real life. And I thought this build needed a little bit more greenery, so we went into debug to find what I call tree cages. I don't know the proper term for these things, but it's basically just like a little metal thing that the trees go in. And I thought that actually helped this lot come to life a little bit, which was really nice. So we're not doing too much more outside. I think we do a little bit more landscaping in like the back area where our employee entrance is. But I did also want this to be very nice and bright. So we put a lot of lights around and about. Oh, and here is that landscaping in the back by the employee entrance. So I just put some little red flowers down just to have a nod of that and just to have something else back there. In my ideal world, there would be a dumpster back there, but we did not roll a pack with the dumpster, so we had to go dumpsterless, unfortunately. And now we are working on getting some stuff on our tables. Here is where I start to add in some slight pops of red, and I think these little plants look very cute with just the menus on. We do go back and add candles before it's all over with, but I really like the simplicity of that. I really didn't want these tables to be overly cluttered. I feel like that goes against the fancy vibes that we were going for. But now we're working on our kitchen space, and our kitchen space actually moves and changes several different times. But the biggest change that we made here was we moved the waiter stations out and made them their own little wall on the main dining floor, which I think was cute. And we used this item from Bathroom Clutter Kit. I was just pretending that that's where they keep like their paper goods or maybe extra pens and pencils in there, because we do that at our restaurant. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they would want it to look nice and on display. But now we're doing some moving around in the kitchen, and that sink is definitely being blocked, and I didn't notice. So that does get changed before the end. But now we're heading upstairs, and here's where I maybe lose the plot a little bit, if I'm being quite frank with you. I almost just wanted to ignore the fact that we rolled spooky stuff, but I felt like that would not be in the best interest of the challenge. So now we are upstairs and we are about to decorate a spooky stuff party room. And I honestly really think that this turns out cute. So we are using these two rugs as almost like a dance floor space. I add this bar up here from Get Famous and we get a little radio with a ghosty DJ. I imagine it's a bit of a like C-list celebrity Halloween or spooky day party going on up here. So we do have some tables and we do get some chairs at them, but the table toppers are cute little candy bowls. The spooky stuff pack is honestly kind of fun. It's just extremely niche and it's not exactly something you'd regularly put in a restaurant build. I did put spider webs and spiders on the wall, so it looked like maybe the walls were just like black walls that somebody decorated with spider webs. And I've got to tell you, spiders are one of my biggest fear. So this really gave me the ick putting them on the wall like that, but I do think it turns out cute. And I thought it was fun. We played with the lighting up here, so it's very green and purple and glowy and kind of like a moody light, which I don't usually do, so I thought it was a nice, fun addition. I can acknowledge that by all technical means, this room makes no sense in this restaurant, but if you tell a story that there's a little Halloween party going on upstairs, I think it fits. And if you really hate it and you want to play in this restaurant, just delete all the spooky day stuff and put normal seating and it's no big deal. But we are heading outside now and I started placing just normal chairs and tables, but then somebody recommended the ones with the umbrellas, which I don't know why I didn't think of the ones with the umbrellas, but oh my gosh, I think they look so cute out here. And then we just get some extra planters and things just to make it kind of feel a little more lively upstairs. But I think that is the bulk of the build done. So let me go ahead and hop into game so I can give you a quick tour of the build because I know it's so hard to see what's going on while the camera's moving around so fast. So let's go ahead and hop into game. So I built this lot in the world of Del Sol Valley over here where this little park is on this 20 by 20 lot. And here is a look at that restaurant space. So starting on the ground floor, you walk in here to the nice entryway space that has the big sign on the back wall, and the hostess station is right here kind of mixed in with the rest of these counters. I decided to leave these clear because I felt like a restaurant that was a little fancier would not have a lot of counter clutter when you walked in. But then we've got our full dining area, we've got our booth areas, and then these cute little tables, plus a couple of bathrooms over here. We have our waitress station here along this wall with a little poster on top. Our kitchen space right here, which we did add some fridges into and moved that sink around. So it is a fully functional restaurant kitchen space. And then over on these walls, we got some of the menus that have the little glow on them, as well as some more of the celebrity like memorabilia, I guess you could call it. And then upstairs is where our spooky day stuff things come into play. I think the only spooky day thing I managed to fit in downstairs was this wallpaper in the bathrooms. I didn't feel like it was too much, so that's down there. But this room is just a full spooky day. But we do have a bar and a little radio, like I said, with a little ghosty DJ. I think the glow in this room is quite nice, and we do use the blackout curtain, so no matter what time of day it is, the room lighting is kind of the same, which I think is pretty nice. And out here we have our outdoor seating space with the cute little umbrella tables and some extra little plants. In the back we have our trash cans. This is where I would have liked a dumpster to go, but this is kind of the employee entry area, so I didn't really feel like it was necessary to have too much out here. But that is our fully functional restaurant using Get Famous, Dine Out, Spooky Day, and the Bathroom Clutter Kit. Let me guys know how you think I did with this build in the comments below. Was this not the most random assortment of packs that we could have possibly gotten? If you made it this far in the video, comment our secret emoji down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have the best rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!